So I go Namcol and then, no, YouTube and then Namcol. We are getting to be few. Okay, I can leave it open. Officially good morning. Are we on? Are we going? Yeah. So also to everybody online, it's the last day. So I really apologize that we're starting late. It's just that a discussion of these practical issues, and it's also important for me to understand. It doesn't help if I tell you that we should only drive Mercedes when in reality the vehicle is a Volkswagen or something. So it was also important, but I apologize for the delay. We would like, please, for our online people to come more today, to be part of us. The objective is to have a video script, at least one, when we're done. So that's a big ask. So we will go straight into it in a minute. Just tell me, Justine, what are you going to do straight after this course? What are you going to do for the weekend? Yeah, it is finally weekend. No.
It's true.
It's not working. Yeah, how does it work?
Okay, for the weekend, I have a few things lined up, but most of it's really just work. I mean, since I've been here, I didn't get a chance during the week to do some of the stuff, which unfortunately I have to carry home. Prepare for a training that I have on Monday.
Okay.
But other than that, I want to get my last 2 MasterChef pots. You remember that promotion?
Yeah. I know, I saw the people there lining up.
So I want to go get those last pots if there are some.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm busy shopping looking for a dress.
Dress? For what? What kind of dress?
No, for my little one's first birthday.
First birthday?
Yeah.
Nice.
You know those things that are like my first birthday or something like that. So yeah.
Okay.
That's all. That's all I plan. I'm not planning to be around the scripts yet.
Oh. So I hope today you can do a lot with the scripts. Thank you. Now today I forgot your name, sorry. Yeah?
Stephanie
Oh yeah.
or Tangi. You can call me
It's
Tangi.
easier for me. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Is it regarding
What are you going to do in the weekend?
in the weekend? I actually don't have a plan for now for the weekend. Since I'm kind of an indoor person, I will actually try to get more knowledge on how to do video scripts. I will be learning on video on YouTube. Like Mr. Kapenda said that we have to go on YouTube and check what they have done and get more clue on what to do. Because the first time that I'm doing it. After that, if I get my material, I set up my table and then I have to start. I actually don't have any plan for a weekend for now.
No plan
Unless
to
it will
relax.
come up during the day.
Okay, so far I have not heard any relaxing plans. I don't want, I don't, I don't want you to Google very much about how to do a video script, because this is what we've done here. And the more you get different styles of doing things, the more it becomes so big, and it's better actually just to go into the format here that we have and actually just do that. You remember the story I told you long ago about the millipede. So the millipede has, is a decent boot, so it has 1,000 legs, more or less. And the millipede could dance very well. So, of course, the tortoise was very jealous of the millipede. So the animals of the wood of the forest used to come together to watch the millipede dance. My goodness, he would do the twists and turns and do the swings, and everybody just loved to watch the millipede dance. It was so natural, so good. And then because the tortoise became insanely jealous, he went to the millipede and he said, with flattery, he said, "Oh, nobody dances like you. I just love to watch you dance. I just wish I knew your secret. Do you have a formula? Like, I'm trying to see, is it like you start with the first 3 to 5 legs, and then you lift suddenly to your tail, and then there's kind of a swing you do, and he's giving him suggestions like, I've watched you, I see this is maybe what you do." Now the millipede was very flattered, and he was trying to be helpful to give his secret, no, not his secret, but to enforce is the formula that obviously the tortoise was very observant, and he was writing up a formula that he sees the millipede doing. So the millipede is now thinking, if I don't do it like that, it's not going to be so amazing to the tortoise again. So he said, you know what? I haven't been aware of actually what I do. I just used to do it, but I will check next time, and maybe it will help you. So the next time he had to dance, he was concentrating. What is it that I do? So it totally wrecked his style, because he could not be natural anymore. And that was the last time that the millipede did a natural dance. So the moral of the story is that we have strengths. So we have a formula that we can follow, but we have our natural strengths, and we have to use that. You pour a bit of, you have a formula, you have it. But within that formula, there is a lot of play there. So play. Don't go with somebody else's humor, somebody else's personality. Pour your own strength into it, your own style, and so that it doesn't become stuck and forced. Yeah? So just be a natural millipede. Just close your eyes and ears to others, and look at the formula, think of what is the natural application, and just do the best you can with those scenes. Okay. I wanted to tell you this before, but I think it's important that you do not get impressed by somebody else's things so much that you try to shape yourself onto somebody else's style. Okay? Use your own strengths. Okay. I think with that, we have to jump into this now. I can see it's off, so that's good. Why? Oh, we are already here. Good morning, colleagues. Looking forward to another interesting educational session. Thank you and good morning, Maria and Nina. May we aspire to your hopes. Please open, Audrey, have you sent them the script? Please do, and please. Now, do you have all the email addresses? Then it would be good if they can. Okay, because alternatively, do you have you received already the earlier one we had? This one, the video script. Okay, thank you. While you are doing that, yeah, let me just. So those pots and pans, are they based on these sparse stickers, which I see here now, the bag? Yeah? Are they? How many are you supposed to have? How many stickers are you supposed to have to buy those? 20. I think I have 20. Should also go. Okay. Could we please have a syllabus for what is that? Design technology. But she's not here. Let's do yours. I'll get there. Don't worry. Just a little more. Yes, got it. Okay. So design technology syllabus, and it's one of those that is probably hard. Could we help you with one activity, just so we go through how to do it? Give us a learning outcome that we can work on. Can I? The first one? Okay, we have here design technology. Okay, so if you have the script like that, please open, so you don't have to write a design technology script, but okay, are you going to have Namcol at the top? Or do you want there to say advanced something? Yeah, advanced subsidiary level what? What is it called? Advanced subsidiary level what? Okay. Does it make sense if we say advanced subsidiary level educational video program? Something like that? Okay. So please write it like that, because this becomes our template from now on. Okay. Then we have the series, advanced subsidiary level, and you put your own subject in there. In this case, I'll say design and technology. Here. Sorry, here? Namibian? Yeah. Okay. Now it's good to have that, because it becomes your flagship thing for something like that. Okay. Thank you. Everybody online, please, everybody here, let's move together, because we're going to have to move fast now. So, Namibian Senior Secondary Advanced Subsidiary Level. Senior Secondary Certificate. It is quite long. We just make the font smaller, then we fit it in. What again? Certificate. Okay, I make it smaller so it fits in one line. No? Not yet. Okay, Namibian Seniors Secondary Certificate Advanced Secondary Level Educational Video Program. Okay? Sorry? Okay, so the series, now we've already mentioned what subsidiary level is, so now we can just say AS level design and technology. Does that make sense? Yeah? Can we continue? Okay, so just stop me when something does not actually make sense. Okay, so she's saying this will be program 1. Yeah, so Tangi, you have to guide us now. Okay, and the name of your first program is? Sustainable Resources and Design. Yeah? Sustainable Resources and Design. Okay, question. Did you fill in all 5 your lesson names yet for video? No? Let's go back and do that because we cannot sit before we have crawled. So we have to go back to that. Okay, so please find that same form that we had for rate.
Okay, question. Did you
Sorry.
fill in all 5 your lesson?
I just wanted to go to that because this is too fat to fit in. Okay. 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 So now, is it already pressed?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so please find that.
Shut up. Okay, so this one. Eh? Okay, go to that form. You know which form, eh? Don't you know? Where was it? Forms. It was with forms. Okay. Yeah, not a form. Yeah, this one. So, at the top, do you have this form? Everybody have this form? Okay, so the year is 2022. The subject is your subject. So, and this is the medium of video. Okay? You've got that? Now, from now on, we will work very fast because we want to do it today. Okay? You've got it, 2022. Your subject, only on this one form, and media of video. Online, guys, are you fine? Have you got this form? It's the same form we had for radio, just save it under a video name. So, you know probably already what video lessons you want to develop. Fill in all those lessons. You want to do something on what, on what, on what. So take out your syllabus, if you've got it with you, write down your lesson titles there. And here we say the module is not really the module, it's the syllabus, right? Syllabus number, it's according to a number, isn't it? Okay? So you do this for all 5 of your programs. You put the syllabus and the lessons that you are going to develop. Okay, just give me an indication that we can move on. Okay, so for now we won't go to lesson title. The lesson title is just if this is sustainable resources and design. Sustainable resources and design. Then the lesson title might be something like what it means is probably how to use, isn't it? Tell me. Are we saying the use of recycled material or something in design? Is that it? Okay. So let's say using or reusing materials in design. Something like that. You might find a way to make it more interesting. This is not set in stone. This is according to your own creativity. So the syllabus number, where do we find it in the syllabus? Do I say part 1? 1.1. No. Syllabus number 1.1. Okay. So you find it in the syllabus, which is like this document. And the theme or topic becomes the place where it fits in your syllabus. In this case, it's 1.1. Okay, so this, have you done it for all 5? You've got 5 lesson titles. So you would page through your syllabus. I see that the next topic is only design. It's very broad, of course. Then there's basic technology. Then we have quite a lot, design influences and methodology. Then we have visualization and modeling, drawing systems. So you basically page through the syllabus and you identify 5 lessons that you can develop. Have we got it? Okay, as soon as I see one hand, I can move on. One hand? No. Let's see if we've got online a hand. Okay, does it mean, Pauline, that we can move on? Okay, if you are not saying anything, does it mean you are not going to do it today, or what does it mean? The question, what we are trying to do is to identify all 5 lesson topics. Probably you have already done this prior to when you decided to agree to writing video scripts. Probably you have been thinking already what lessons you want to develop, right? Isn't it? So you know already what it is, more or less. So have you got your, yeah, Christoph? Yes.
I think it will apply to all of us as PDs.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that is a very good point to make.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone here who actually has to write these 5 scripts? Who is that? Okay. Vese. Have you got your 5 lessons, or can we help you?
I haven't got them yet, since in this syllabus we only focus on 2 things, which is writing and reading, yes.
Writing and
And
reading.
reading only.
So specific skills with regard to writing and reading.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was now to decide, even though here and there they are in the cloud there storming in the brain, but I had to sit down and be cautious on selecting, and then select why am I choosing this one? Will it be better due to the resources available, or will it stand more out when it's on video compared to radio? So I was to go and sit around, disperse all my things, and yeah,
Okay.
weigh
So,
my options.
so do you want to do it on your own, or can we help you?
If you help me, I will not say no, but on my own will be better.
Will be
because-
better.
Yeah, because I do it straight in my language.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go with design and technology then.
Design. Can you help
Design
me?
technology. What is it we're doing?
Stanky?
Design technology. No, it's fine. We've got it here. Have you got only one copy? Do you need this? Okay. So if okay. Now that you've identified these 5 lessons, we then go back to the script, which is this one? Yeah. All right, so there's the script back. So the writer there, you write your name and your phone number. The date you submit, that of course in this case will be February 2022. Okay? This now is set in stone. This is when it has to be provided. Okay. We then go to the, let's say this is now design and technology. So in your script, you also do this, and your topic is, the thing is, if Mims was here now, she would have reminded us that we're supposed to walk out of here with one script written. So it's now up to the online people to achieve that for us. We have to have one script written. Did we say it's going to be called using what? I forgot now. Let's say reusing materials in design or for design or whatever. Okay? So this is where you can play a little bit with funky font because you are trying to have interest. Tangi, you can be looking for a joke. Oh no, we don't need a joke here. Okay, tell us how is the application. So the learning objectives. Let's look at the learning objectives here. Let's start with identify. So in this theme or topic, general objectives, learners will understand conservation methods for natural resources. Okay, so we said already that this is bad. It was poorly written in here. It's not your fault, but you cannot make someone understand something. You can only provide them with the knowledge and skills which will help him to show understanding. So learners will understand the conservation methods. We could say learners should be able to identify conservation, ways to conserve, let's say, ways to conserve natural resources. All right? So if the book says conservation methods for natural resources, try to make it easier because, yes, it's on a high level and all that, but these things, it simply means save or conserve natural resources. Okay? So identify ways to conserve natural resources. Okay. The next outcome, be aware. So of course also you cannot, how will you test that a person is aware of something? Because if I look around the whole time, you can say, oh, she's aware. But I may be a person, I just quietly look around. I'm still aware. So it is not an accessible, oh, we can probably now take out this one. Do you need this one in? Oh, okay. So for now, it's fine. Yeah, so be aware that some outcomes are not, it's not really, you cannot test an awareness, really. But you can test how do you show awareness. You show awareness by showing knowledge. You show awareness by certain actions. Then you have to describe the actions that you want to see that would prove to me that you have awareness. Okay, so awareness also wouldn't go with like the NTA there. So be aware of recycling as an elementary conservation method. So you could say learners will be able to recycling as an elementary conservation method of, yeah, and elementary, what is a better word for elementary? Basic, thank you. So who said basic first? Thank you, well done. This your since you said what? Beginner. No, but it is wrong. Who was it? Florence. It was you. She said basic first. Okay, so let's use an easy word if it exists. Okay, so rather than saying be aware of recycling as an elementary, it can also be one of those words that bother us. Like whenever I hear elementary, I think it's elementary, my dear Watson. So it's absolutely doesn't make sense. Okay, so be aware of recycling as an elementary conservation method of natural resources. So we could say discuss recycling as a basic method of conserving natural resources. Yeah, 6 by 6 becomes now an issue. Identify ways to conserve natural resources. Just discuss recycling as a basic method of conservation. Yeah, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As a basic conservation method. Yeah. So these are the things that we do in editing. Okay. So we are trying to look at your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still 7. Discuss recycling as a basic conservation method. Okay. So let's take away A. Discuss recycling as basic conservation method. Okay. So in the script editing, we are looking at what you are saying, and we're trying to make it to retain your message that you are trying to give, and just to make it shorter and simpler. Okay, that's all. This will not be on the screen, but you will copy it into the screen where you are going to mention the outcomes.
No.
So you could say here, as a basic conservation method. But and you will say it also when you are mentioning the outcomes. But when you are putting it on the screen, that's where you will take out the A and all that.
Yeah, that's what I thought of. Here we can keep even 9 or whatever, and then
Yes.
what we show on the screen, then we make it 6 by 6.
Yes, that's true. I'm just beginning here to focus us that this is potentially a problem. We're going to have to make it there.
I think I deserve a sweet now.
I think you do. It's there. Okay. So, and then we want to, and then I look at here, I see again the third one says, understand different sources and uses of energy. How do you understand the source? You see, there is a problem with the writing of this. Understand the different sources and uses of energy. A source of energy is maybe the sun. So do you understand the sun? Is a problem. Yeah. So the way that it's written here is wrong. Yeah. So understand the different sources and uses of energy? No. You could say demonstrate knowledge of. Yeah. So how do I demonstrate knowledge of energy sources? Okay, then again, when you say different energy sources of energy. So remember, this is the parameter that you are providing for assessment, because again, identify ways to conserve natural resources. How many ways do you want? Okay, so you could say general ways to conserve, and then in the content you will say the general sources are this. But this still is very vague in terms of assessment, because identify ways to conserve. If you are in a test, or when you're giving the learner a test, you will say identify 4 ways to conserve natural energy. But in the outcomes, you could say identify ways, but then in the content you might say we can look at 4 ways, general ways to conserve natural resources. That is where you will say we can look at wind and water and sun and what else. So those are what you discuss, and then among those 4 that you have provided, you might ask 3 in the assessment. Okay, but you cannot say identify ways, because then it is like totally too wide, and I don't know how many you want. Okay, so discuss recycling as a basic conservation method. This is much more clear. So discuss recycling, and then in your test you might say discuss for me 4 or a paragraph of 100 words or 20 words or so about recycling. Okay, so generally people write like 10 words in a line. So it means you want 2 full sentences, more or less like that, according to how you teach them. Demonstrate knowledge of different sources of energy. This is vague enough in the outcome. How do you demonstrate knowledge? In the test, you will say discuss sun energy discuss the sun as a source of energy, discuss wind as a source of energy, or water or so. So a little bit wider in the outcome, but then you give specific information, and then in the summary, you again have the specific full bag of knowledge that you want them to have, and then in the assessment they can pick, or you can pick from that bag to test them on. Okay, so try to always follow this this line of complexity. So we start with identify, that's where they just say it's wind and water and what, or it's recycling, it's reuse, it's whatever, what the other one was. And then, then it becomes a little bit more complex. Discuss recycling as, so you needed to have enough information about that. Then you have to demonstrate something, because at the end of the day, you want these people to be able to do something, even if it's only demonstrate knowledge about something. Okay. Okay, so we said this is design technology. I can't change this thing now. Okay. Right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Why are you taking pictures? Okay. Now, how? Give us a few activities. So I'll just. I look at this and it says learners should be able to formulate different conservation methods, examine how the natural resources are conserved or destroyed as sources of energy, and maybe destroyed, draw up conclusions on advantages and disadvantages of the identified conservation methods, justify ways of using recycling to conserve natural resources. Evaluate the following sources of energy. Oh, there's lots. Wind and water, solar, fossil fuel, tidal, magnetic and gravity. So it's quite a lot. Explain the concept of conservation and the terms. Okay, so obviously you would start with the terms. You cannot really move on until you have explained the terms. So I would rearrange all these outcomes. Actually, going back now, first you have to explain terminology. Define. Define is, there's a difference between define and when you define, that word fine tells you something. It is very exact. A definition is a definition. An explanation is wider. It gives more. That's why they say in the tests, explain in your own words. But define, try not to use that word define, because there is specific definition and you cannot get away from it. It's like a dictionary definition. Okay, so you would start with explain the concept of conservation. Okay, so explain concepts, basic concepts relating to conservation. Okay, you have to explain the concepts first. And don't think that this is not your subject. You don't need to do this. But this is very important in terms of the sequence of learning. That you have to start with the terminology first, so that you know what you're talking about, or that the learner knows what you are discussing. Then you go into the specifics. So if they don't know what conservation is in the first place, you cannot move on. So always start with terminology. So explain basic concepts relating to conservation. From there, you can identify ways to, okay, so what we are missing here is reasons why, or the importance of conservation. Let's say describe the importance of conservation. Okay, identify ways to conserve. Then this one is very specific. So meaning that you have all those natural resources, but the one you can, you want to conserve all of them, but you cannot use them in recycling, right? So that gets tricky. So you have to really think always, why do I want my learners to know this? Okay, so why do you want them to know ways to conserve natural resources if you only want to get to recycling? Why am I saying this? Because we are now already with 5 outcomes here. And why do you want them to demonstrate knowledge of different sources of energy? Why do they have to have knowledge of different sources of energy when you want them to make something? Do you see where I'm going? This knowledge that you want to give them now is not related to making something. Design technology is about making something, isn't it? So this is becoming a biology lesson. It's not what you want them to have. Okay? So you don't really care at this point the different sources of energy. It's not related to what you want to teach. What do you want to teach? It says here also, draw up conclusions on advantages and disadvantages of identified conservation methods. All of this is biology or life science. Justify ways of, now we're getting there, justify ways of using recycling to conserve natural resources. We have evaluate the following sources of energy. That's fine. If you're in a classroom, you can evaluate the sources of energy. And you can maybe briefly mention them, but it's not part, it could not be an outcome. Anna.
Ma'am, my question is, okay, I think I'm lost somewhere, somehow. The script we are
writing.
Yeah, we are writing. Is it a lesson for one day?
Yeah.
Okay, so now this means that all those objectives I have to teach in one day.
In one lesson.
In one lesson.
That is why we are making them fewer. At the moment they are 5, but some of them are not relevant. Mm-hmm. So we are refining so that we can stay with 3 or 4 for the lesson.
Okay, ma'am.
Because yes, all the content relating to these outcomes must be in that lesson.
Okay.
So I think it's, yeah, Christoph. We're getting the mic.
I'm sorry to take you back. Those outcomes or learning objectives,
Yeah.
are they in your syllabus?
Yes, we are working now from the syllabus.
Okay, the way they are stated in the syllabus is the way you have put them on the screen there.
My problem is that in my humble opinion, the syllabus is wrong. It is in a different, it is not, and I'm saying it really from I was there at the Namibia Training Authority, so I know. It is you cannot give a lot of outcomes and then you have explained the terminology. You have to start with the terminology. And this of show awareness and understand, and this You cannot say the general objective is the learners will understand, learners will be aware. Yeah. No, I understand. This is what you get to work with.
Yeah.
I understand that it's a challenge. But I'm just then saying, help your learners then look at the order of things and decide, see then for yourself and make a number one here in the content. When you see terminology, make there a number one and see that that is the first thing that is taught. And have a look really at the content and keep focused on what you really want this learner to know. Know that if they learn about conservation and all that, it really is life science. But there's a lot of information on this, but for your purposes, you want them to be using materials that are throwaway materials for design, because that's the subject. Okay. So I'm sorry. I know it is now becoming more and more challenging. But if we want to do it right, somebody else made a mistake. It is clear. But just for your own knowledge, know that we have to give the terminology first. And we cannot expect a person to show, to be aware. We have to show awareness by conserving or whatever it is. So we can only give our own input and hope to make the world better one step at a time. Now I have to think a bit, not Selwyn, what?
Elvis.
Selvis?
Yes.
Okay, Selvis.
Okay. Just one reality, maybe in a question.
Yeah.
Specifically on point number 3, that the objective there.
Yeah.
Is it doable for me to say, identify and discuss in one? If so, why? If yes, why again?
We have to be aware of what each word means. Yeah. So identify means, that's a tree, that's a desk. So if you say identify the different ways of conservation or different conservation methods, you only want a list. So identify and list, those are the same. You want only a word. But if you say identify and describe, you want them to list and to give a little bit more information about it. Yeah. So they might make a list. They would say a chair and a desk and a bottle, and then they might say a chair. This is made of steel and cloth. The what is what. So they say a little bit more about it.
Yeah, but is it doable? Can I do it like that? Identify in one and discuss.
Yeah. Maybe you need to identify and describe.
Yeah. I'm just asking because us technically, we cannot have actually 3 objectives. There are even more. Yeah. That's why I prefer I could have them 3, whereby discuss with identification. And
the problem is that you know that for every outcome, you must have an activity. Yeah. And if you have more than 3 activities, the script becomes, the program becomes too long, and it becomes expensive because somebody has to be sent out to go and film those. So that is why there's a lot of thinking that goes into making sure that your outcomes are absolutely to the point. Everything rests on these outcomes. They are really very important, that the right thinking should go into it. So in this case, explain the basic concepts, describe the importance, Really for design technology, when I'm looking at this, what they are giving, I don't really want them to know, to evaluate. Evaluate is a very high competency.
Yeah, and maybe just to consider the groom taxonomy also, the level of
Bloom's taxonomy, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe the level of which
Yeah.
level, which people are we
Are
dealing
you
with?
pitching it on?
Yeah. Okay. The first one, explain basic concept. Okay. Are we saying concept can be also another way of saying terminology?
Yes,
But if you get
but
technically,
choose
does it
the
really-
one that's the simplest.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, terminology and what did you say? The
Concept,
concepts.
yeah.
Yeah, or terms. They are all the
Yes.
same. It's a matter of choosing one. I have the Bloom's. I was going to put it in, but then I thought you guys know that, and it takes a lot of time.
Oh, okay. No, let me not take you back.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, but you guys know that.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of as a vague guideline, you go first for identify, and then describe, and explain, and eventually to demonstrate.
Yeah.
Even if it's demonstrate knowledge of. Okay. Okay. Your students, for example, Syllabus, are they assessed like to physically do something based on these lessons also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes, yes.
Okay. So which means there would be times when you would say demonstrate building a wall of 3 layers or whatever.
In most cases, they have to demonstrate, they have to show.
Yeah. Yeah, how
Exactly.
they do it to a certain
Level,
extent.
yes.
Okay, so let's quickly sort this out because we have to go to tea. Explain basic concepts relating to conservation. Describe. Do you really want? What is the ultimate thing you want them to do? The ultimate thing is recycling, right? Isn't it? For this outcome, recycling. So you don't really. Maybe you can combine these two, the importance of conservation and basic concepts. So could you say, describe the importance and basic concepts of conservation? Does that work for you? The importance and basic concepts, meaning that in your lesson, you would say it's very important to conserve because this, and this. And we could add conservation involves, and you explain the finite supply, the infinite supply, the renewable energy sources. They are all part of the reason why we have to conserve, okay? So maybe it's the basic concepts might be part of the importance. Then we look at identify ways to conserve. Do you really want them to, in this lesson in design technology, to identify ways of conserving? Or do you simply want to get to discuss recycling as a basic conservation effort? Yeah? Can you see that this basically go together? You don't really want them to list all the other methods. You want them to get to recycling, isn't it? So discuss recycling as a basic conservation method. Now they've got the importance, the basic concepts of conservation. You pick now recycling as a basic one, and then you have to demonstrate something. I think it's knowledge of different sources of energy. The energy doesn't really get to the recycling. No. So what do you want them to demonstrate after such a lesson? It looks like the lesson is actually about it's very important to conserve natural resources. One way is to recycle, and yeah, so it is important to conserve. One way is recycling. Now, what do you want them ultimately to get from this lesson? To use different products to reuse, or to identify ways how you could recycle, or what would ultimately be what the person must be able to do?
I think they should be able to demonstrate the different methods.
But they cannot demonstrate all the methods because you want them to focus on recycling.
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, as I was saying, they should be able to demonstrate different recycling methods on conserving, something in that line.
All right. All right. You want them to know which materials they can recycle.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Take yourself, sweetie. Is there anything still there? Okay. So, how would you phrase that, Tangi? Do you have please can we have the camera to Tangi?
What I actually want them to, they must be able to know the materials, resources, the product that you will be able to use for recycling.
Okay. So what would you ask them in a question in the exam?
Maybe to list different types of products that you can
recycle. Okay. So let's move this up because list really has to come before discuss. Okay. So list products that can be recycled. Okay. There's a little bit also broad to say list products. It's like 120 products that you So in the description of the outcome is good if it's let's say list a range of household or common household products, or list a range of common. Yeah, how does that work? So describe the importance and basic concepts of conservation. List a range of common household products that can be recycled, and then discuss recycling as a basic conservation method. One has to, no, it doesn't work because the recycling has to then go before, and then you go to the specifics of that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's better, no? Do you have a comment? So it's fine. Yeah. Let's go for tea, and just a quick 10 minutes. We can see we have so much work today. Or do you want 15 minutes? How long do you want? No, 25 is too long. Could we 1, 2, 3? Yeah. So 20 to 11. Is that fine? 20 minutes to 11. We're back after tea. Okay.